Functions of sleep, restoration explanations. Restoration explanations argue that sleep serves the function of enabling our brain and body to carry out important repair, restoration, and development work on our biological systems. Oswald proposed that the different stages of sleep have particular benefits. Slow wave sleep body restoration. Slow wave sleep may have specific functions of enabling body repair to take place. Growth hormone has been shown to be secreted during slow wave sleep, which is particularly important during early life development, such as during puberty. It is also important during adulthood because it enables protein and cell growth to take place. It is vital because proteins are fragile and must be constantly renewed. This protein synthesis and cell growth also allows the body to regenerate antibodies used as part of the immune system. Evidence to support the slow wave sleep restoration explanation comes from Shapiro et al. They found that people who had completed an ultra-marathon 57-mile race slept an hour and a half longer than they normally did for the 2 nights following the race, and slow wave sleep accounted for much greater proportion of total sleep time than normal. This suggests that slow wave sleep may indeed serve the function of restoring the body. However, Raybach and Lewis found that healthy individuals who spent 6 weeks simply resting in bed showed no changes in their sleep patterns. This suggests there may be more to slow wave sleep than simply aiding our body, because if it were its only function, we might expect time in slow wave sleep to decrease when there is less physical activity. This implies that restoration theories are reductionist, taking an overly simplistic view of sleep functions when they are in fact more complex than this. Nonetheless, research into lifespan changes in sleep has shown that adolescents going through rapid growth during puberty experience an increase in slow wave sleep, which may be driving their growth and development. Equally, older people who are no longer growing and who also often experience health issues such as reduced bone density experience a decrease in slow wave sleep, which may explain many of these health issues associated with old age. This suggests that slow wave sleep does drive many of the bodily changes that take place throughout life. Indeed, there may be practical applications of these ideas. If the lack of slow wave sleep in older people is the reason why many health issues occur, as there is less time for body restoration, then it may follow that teaching older people relaxation techniques and even making medication to help increase sleep time, and more specifically slow wave sleep, may improve these issues. This suggests that research into restoration explanations may be used to help improve the lives of people in the real world. Further support for the restorative functions of slow wave sleep comes from Ferreira et al. They found that when participants were deprived of slow wave sleep using acoustic stimulation to wake them up whenever EEG showed that they were entering slow wave sleep, participants spent much more time in slow wave sleep when they were then allowed to sleep normally. This need to apparently catch up on lost slow wave sleep is called slow wave sleep rebound. This might imply that slow wave sleep does indeed serve the vital body function
that must be recovered later if it does not take place for some reason.
REM brain restoration. Restoration explanations do not simply focus on slow wave sleep, and it has been argued that REM sleep has a different restorative function in helping to repair, restore, and develop neural connections in the brain. More specifically, it has been argued that REM sleep allows for a break in neurotransmitter release, which in turn allows neurons to regain their sensitivity and allow them to function more effectively. It has also been suggested that brain restoration work helps to improve memory processing by discarding unwanted memories, this making important memories more accessible. Support for these ideas comes from research from psychologists. This research involved forcing rats to remain physically active by rotating a disc that they were standing on every time the rat started to go to sleep. After 33 days, all of the sleep-deprived rats had died. This suggests that lack of sleep, including slow-wave sleep and REM sleep, has fatal consequences, perhaps due to being prevented from restoring their brain and bodies in these stages of sleep. However, this research only considers non-human animals, and the findings may not generalize to sleep functioning in humans. Evidence to support the notion of REM sleep aiding brain growth in humans comes from research into lifespan changes in sleep. It has been shown that newborns spend much more time in REM sleep, called active sleep, than adults at a time when most brain development is taking place. This suggests REM sleep is aiding the process of brain and development. There is also support from human sleep deprivation research, such as the case of Peter Tripp.
He stayed awake for a total of 201 hours during a radio wake-a-thon. Over the course of the broadcast, Tripp became abusive, paranoid, and began to hallucinate. This might suggest that the lack of sleep, and REM sleep in particular, may have caused these effects due to his brain being prevented from carrying out vital restoration needed to maintain normal cognitive functioning. However, as the Peter Tripp study and like others like it are only case studies involving individuals, they may not
represent the effects of REM sleep deprivation in everyone, as they may lack population validity.
Nonetheless, in research studies where participants are specifically deprived of REM sleep by being waken up as soon as REM sleep begins, they usually go on to show similar effects to those deprived specifically of slow wave sleep by spending much more time in REM sleep when they are then allowed to sleep normally, called REM rebound. This implies that much like slow wave sleep, REM also seems to serve a vital function, biological function that must be recovered later if it does not take place for some reason. Restoration explanations cannot effectively explain sleep in species that may be better explained by evolutionary approach. For example, EEG studies of dolphins have found no evidence of REM sleep. If REM sleep did serve vital function of enabling brain to repair and restore itself, it's unclear why dolphins would not need this to happen as much as any other species. However, the evolutionary explanation that sleep is related to environmental pressures placed on each species may account for these differences between species much more effectively. This suggests that restoration explanations may be limited as they cannot explain functions of sleep in species, and other approaches may be required to explain the different functions of sleep.